Hi everybody, it's Nikki and I'm here to do a really quick video, no medical advice whatsoever. It's an attempt at a quick demonstration. Kerstin, you were talking about air bubbles in your cartridge and how to avoid getting air bubbles in your X2 cartridge. I wanted to say up front that I don't have any problems with getting air bubbles in my cartridge, and I also didn't have any problems on Medtronic either, so I'm not sure that I'm a good person to ask. And I'm not sure I don't have problems. I just know that in general, the only indicator to me that there is some kind of a problem like that would be with unexplained high blood sugars. And in general, I know why my blood sugar is high, and it's because of something I've eaten or something I've done. So occasionally there is one that I cannot explain. It could be air bubbles. It doesn't happen often enough for me to think that there's something wrong with the process that I do. In general, I feel like they have covered air bubbles in two parts of the process. The first one is where you actually pull the air out of the cartridge, because sometimes you with your syringe, and I'll show that in a second. And then the second part, and I often skip this step, is where you remove the syringe, turn it upside down, and push the air out of your syringe until there's insulin in the needle tip. I don't do that step a lot of the time. It's just an extra step in my mind. It's just an extra step that takes a few more seconds. And when I am tired, it's 10 o'clock at night, or I'm tired for a million different reasons, I've seen that as an unnecessary step. And again, without any evidence that something's wrong with my own process, I do it, and it seems to be okay. But I feel like if I want to be extra careful, or if something is going on that I'm not quite sure what it is and it's back to basics, that's an easy one to throw back in. So here are the steps. Here are the parts. Here's the cartridge. Here is the way the syringe comes in two different pieces. So you'll assemble it. And here is my insulin. Oh, actually, I'm going to put a new needle on it. I did do a video where I got all the way through the steps and I was just about done, and I realized I had left out that step. So I'm going to give a new needle so I don't get a clogged needle tip. And I'll mention it really quick. If you do have problems with your syringe during the cartridge fill and you feel like the plunger is stuck, it might be a clogged needle tip. And it might be solved by swapping out with a new tip. So I'm doing that to prevent any problems. Okay, so I assemble my syringe, and I'm gonna do my fill to 250 units. You have to put in at least 50 units for a T-slim fill, or an X2 fill. Okay, and this is how I do it. I don't know if it's right. This is how I do it. First, I inject the air into the vial. And I start looking for the air bubbles at this step. And I do find that the faster I pull the insulin into the syringe, usually the more bubbles I get. And I hate the tiny bubbles. Those drive me up the wall. The big ones, I feel like you can tap and get them to go to the top. So I've got one big bubble at the top. So I will try to get rid of that before I get to the cartridge. And I just saw it go back in. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I just added 50 units. Okay, I'm at 250. Looks pretty good. I don't see any bubbles. So the next issue is whether or not there's bubbles inside the cartridge. So what Tandem will have you do is you're going to take your needle tip and you're going to insert it into the center of that white dot. If you're doing it properly, your needle should only go in halfway. It shouldn't sink all the way to the bottom. Counterintuitive, if you're a Medtronic user, at this point you're going to, with a full syringe full of insulin, you're going to pull the syringe upward. And you can watch and see the bubbles come up. So there's tiny bubbles and then there's some big bubbles, and I usually hold it and kind of give it a flick or two. I'm guessing this is the part of the cartridge fill that people complain about because it's awkward, finding where you can get here come the bubbles. Getting your hands in a place where you can be pulling the syringe, holding it, flicking it. This part can get a little tricky, but once you get it, you get it. And then you're okay doing this. Okay, I'm gonna try to get that one last bubble. Come on. There we go. All right, good enough. When I release the plunger, at this point, usually if there's enough suction, the plunger would kind of go back down on its own, but because I was holding it this long, it's not. So I'll just give it no, sorry. This is the step I keep skipping. Okay. Once I have pulled back on the plunger and I've got the air at the top of my syringe, I'm going to remove the syringe. I'm going to turn it right side up, get my bubbles to the top. And you can see there's a couple there. One, everything is up top there. And here, I'm just going to push the insulin up until it fills the orange tip and is visible in the needle tip. So there it is. Okay, so that should have eliminated the air from inside the cartridge. Now I'm going to turn it upside down again, reinsert the way I did the first time, and then just inject the insulin into the cartridge. And that is it. If I'm doing a shortcut, I would not have physically removed the syringe and turned it upside down. I skip that step all the time. I know some people will freak out and they'll say you're not supposed to, and they might be right. I just haven't seen yet, with my own two eyes, a reason why not to do it. And it can save me all of 6 seconds. That's what it's all about. So that's my cartridge fill, and I am off to change the rest of the set. And I don't know if that addresses what you were, looking for, but if not, let me know and we can talk about it. Thanks for watching. Bye.